This episode of 4Tims in a Podcast was brought to you by our pals out at Football Prizes. I'm sure you've remembered that we've been working with them for the last few months. So up for grabs this week, they have given you the chance to win a signed framed Josip Juranovic shirt. It is well framed, it looks all professional as you would expect, but they're helping support our costs at the podcast, and the way you can support us is by going to footballprizes.co.uk and using our discount code 4tims10. That'll get you 10% off any tickets you buy for this draw, and as I say, you'll be helping out the podcast at the same time, so thanks very much for everybody that's done that so far. Draw ends on Thursday night at 7:30, so you'll need to be quick if you're wanting to get involved in that, but let's get on with the show. Hello and welcome to another episode of 4Tims in a Podcast. You join us on Monday night. It's the 7th of March. It's just over a day since Celtic finally ended the 17-year wait, or 16-year, whatever it was. It seemed to get longer every time it got mentioned, for a victory away at Livingston. Tony, I'll come to you. It was, for as poor as Celtic have been in the last few weeks, I thought it was their best performance since then. It's as if we've been saving it up for this Livi away Hoodoo that everybody was speaking about. I thought Celtic were outstanding yesterday. What did you think?
I thought they were excellent. All the pressure was on. Rangers had won the day before. I think obviously they were level on points with us. This was the game that everybody had built up. It's been built up as much as any game. I mean, I've seen games at Ibrox be built up less than this. It was all about this Hoodoo, and whenever we've played there, it's not as if we've ever been unlucky. We've always been fucking garbage and deservedly dropped points. So there was massive pressure on the manager, on the players to go and end this Hoodoo. He done it earlier on the season with Hibs. We've done it as well with Rangers because we hadn't beat them for a couple of years. So I thought we were really professional, even after we missed the penalty, to get the goal right after it. And I seen Callum McGregor was actually apologising to the fans, I was told, for his penalty miss once they scored, which is great. I just thought we were really good. I'm delighted for Maida. I think some of the criticism that guy's got has been ridiculous. I thought again, his movement's great. He's in the right place at the right time. He's pressing. I've said it before, the issue with him is that he presses that fast that it makes him look like a headless chicken, but it's just everybody else is too slow. His pressing's absolutely spot on. So again, I think that's his 5th goal since he came in January. I'm delighted with him. Second goal, Anthony Ralston's in the right position to put in a decent ball. We break really quickly and we get a bit of luck, which is fine. And then Forrest, I thought, had a really good game. I thought he took his goal brilliantly. I was happy for him. And here, we've slated him, and I still think Abada should be starting games, but the manager get it spot on, and hopefully that gives him a shot in the arm. Hopefully he can actually contribute. It's getting to the business end of the season. If he's going to start hitting a bit of form and start scoring goals, and fucking send it on. But no, it was brilliant. There was a real feeling of something special's happening here. Obviously nothing's won, far away from that. There's 8 games to go. We still think to guarantee we win it, we need to have 6 wins and 2 draws, which is possible. So I think it's been a great season. Obviously last week I was at the manager's press conference. He's always very pleasant. I do think he prefers talking to the podcasts than he does the actual media. I've spoken to him I think 3 times now. He's always given such a good in-depth answer to any of the questions. And then me and Andy were at the foundation dinner the other night as well, which was great. I think they raised over 100 grand and he spoke at that and it was actually really funny. So everything's very positive with the club now. We kind of get complacent. I don't think this is a manager that allows complacency. So we're in a very strong position. I mean, I think this is actually a year to the day since we lost the league last season. I think they won it the 7th of March when we drew 0-0 with Dundee United. So it's a fantastic turnaround in such a small space of time. But yesterday was, I'm sure you could say that was Ange's ball. It was just impressive. I think the XG for the game was over 4 and chance creation was great. Just enjoyed it. I mean, when the 3rd goal went in, I was just absolutely loving it. To go somewhere where you're under that much pressure and just fucking wipe the floor with them was outstanding. So I'm really happy. I've been on it for 4 days. I think I've sang the top of the league song about 300,000 times. I'm chilling out the day. My Chinese is on its way, but no, everything's good. It's a nice change for this time last year when we were like 4 fucking men possessed. So I'm sure you'll probably agree with what I say, but honestly, I thought they were brilliant yesterday. Really enjoyed it.
I think we all enjoyed it. Danny, while they two were at the foundation dinner on Thursday night eating prawn sandwiches and sipping champagne, me and you were previewing it, and I think it was sort of like we had predicted it would be pretty tight. But again, I'll repeat what I said. I thought Celtic were outstanding. What did you make it?
Aye, we were getting on with the day job. No, it was good. I mean, I was a bit apprehensive before the game when I seen the team. I thought it was going to be a long 90 minutes. I didn't see Forrest putting in the kind of performance he did. I thought the whole team were outstanding. I thought, particularly the back four, much maligned this season. I know we get lucky with Hart's save, and then the one that the boy hit the bar was a great save by Hart, but the boy hitting the bar, and then also we lost a goal in the second half, but we never looked in any danger in the game. We always looked in complete control. It was the right game. I thought Rogic was outstanding. Kept finding pockets of space the whole game. Livy couldn't get near. I think it was the boy Shinnie they had tasked with just following Rogic, and I think if he wasn't fouling him, he was getting left behind by him. Forrest had a good second half. I thought he was quite poor in the first. I know he got man of the match, and listen, I'll not begrudge him after the season, the last couple of year injuries he's had, but I thought the first half he could have done a wee bit well. But Jota was back to form, which we all like to, which we were all interested in. That's what we're all going there to see. Maeda was outstanding. Thought he set the tone with his pressing, with the way that he helped the team. Great positioning for the first goal. That's what we needed. It was a great worked corner. For Starfelt was unlucky with the header, and that's where you want your striker, your poacher, and to score. And then you just think, right, let's get a second goal early on. We've been guilty of that so often. No killing the game. Yesterday we killed it. Obviously the third goal, but the second goal, it was about 45 seconds into the second half. It's just brilliant, and it was a great, well-worked goal between the whole team. And it obviously was an OG at the end, but it deserved a goal for the move. And then the third goal was just a great goal. The pressing for the whole team to win the ball back in a dangerous area, and then I think is it Rogic who gives it to Jota, and then Jota sees Forrest. It's a great pass, and then they give Forrest all the credit in the world. It's a fantastic finish. And then they scored a bit after it, but they never looked like getting back into it. We always looked in complete control. We got the rub of the green with the corner at the first goal, but I don't think we were ever in any danger. I know picking up 3 points yesterday, the team played with a mentality and a purpose that they weren't going to get beat. And after Rangers scoring a kind of late-ish winner against Aberdeen to go level on points, we had to come out with a message, Dan, and we certainly delivered a message and a half. That was one of our best performances this season, because obviously we've played a lot better, we've scored more goals in games, but if you want a message to be sent, that was definitely it.
Absolutely. I think it's been the way we've played the last few weeks. We've got results, and it's kept us top of the league, but I think there was an added pressure yesterday in terms of only being top on goal before we began, and I think everybody was apprehensive about it. Well, it's understandable why you would be after that. I know it was only 5 games, but sort of was in people's mind, especially at this end of the season. That any slip could prove costly. So I think I'm the same as you. I'll openly admit, I was talking to you in the group chat. I was questioning the manager's selection, because when Sir Alston and Beaton and Forrest were brought in, you did sort of question it, because I'll give James Forrest all the credit in the world for yesterday, because I think quite openly on here I admit that I've never been a massive fan of him, and I've often said that I think his time's done. But I thought, even the first half, I know you questioned it there, Danny, but I thought he was very good the first half. I thought maybe just took an extra touch one too many times when he probably could have had a shot, but I thought he was brilliant yesterday. And his goal, as you say, was just superb. Glad you brought up the defence. I personally thought Carol Starfelt was outstanding yesterday. I know he's another one who thinks that when the performance is only 3, 4, 5-0, then Starfelt seems to get it a wee bit more. He seems to be one of the ones that's plus for criticism, but I thought he was excellent yesterday. Aizen Maeda, he's another one. I've said it again on here. He's been taking a lot of pelters, because I personally think it's simply because he's no Kyogo and he's not the same type of player as Georgios Chakimakis. And when we play to Maeda's strengths, then I think you'll really see the best of him. But I thought it was another great performance. He's alert to the second ball, as you say, Starfelt's header for the first goal. It's a great save for the keeper, and Maeda's just alert to it and puts it in. And I just thought it was a great response. And obviously we've got the cup coming up, so we've got a wee few weeks before we have to worry about it again in terms of the league. But it just really was a significant one, because I think when we had the 2 games against Hibs and Livy coming up, I think people round about who don't want Celtic winning the league sort of were saying, that's the games they'll drop points in. And then obviously we did drop points at Easter Road, but I think to respond in that manner at Livingston and really blow them away. I know we go 3 up and then concede almost instantly, but Livy are a team that are renowned for being decent at set pieces, and so I know they hit the bar, and as you said, Joe Hart has a great save early on as well, but you've just got to withstand that in games. It's not as if, I know their teams took a lot of criticism for set pieces and whatnot in the last few weeks, but I thought they handled it generally well. As I say, I thought Starfelt was excellent, and Aye, I'm just delighted we go that because, as I said, we might like the way the top six works. If we do need to go to somebody 3 times away, then it could be a team like Livingston. So to just sort of banish that, and I think it was Tony who mentioned that, like in terms of that's him banished the Easter Road Hoodoo and the Livi Hoodoo, and then as I said, it was 2 years since we beat Rangers as well. So it's another feather on Andrew's cap, especially since like a year to the day we were 20 points behind and the league was done. So I think where we've came from there is just absolutely outstanding. But Andy, how did you find yesterday? Were you a bit worried after we'd started well and then Cal McGregor misses a penalty and then misses a header for a few minutes later? And it's just, I don't know about you, but when that happened, I was sort of getting a bit jittery, but we did respond very quickly after that.
You see, I mean, everybody was looking at this game, and most people that were the Celtic fans were praying it's when we would drop points. It was how many times did you hear about how fucking long it's been since we've beat them, just completely ignoring the fact that Livingston were fanning about in the lower divisions for long enough. Like, it's been made such a big deal about. Don't get me wrong, we have struggled in sort of recent years when gone there, and there was obviously a slight concern with the pitch and performances, but it's I said get into the game that I fancied Celtic to sort of get that, basically get out it, get through it, and we did. And I mean, again, that's coming after a draw with Hibs and a defeat to Bodo and getting knocked out of Europe. So it shows that there is that sort of mental strength, mental toughness in the players. On the penalty, it was. I'm sure McGregor will say he should be scoring them. He should always be scoring penalties, but like I say, it shows me a different element to the team that it would have been easy for. Because listen, a lot of the players are they would have been aware of it. Even players who've only been here for sort of a couple of months for January, or players who've been here for a year or so, they'll be aware of it. They would have been aware of it. It's been brought up enough times. It would have been easy for teams and players who are a bit weaker mentally to, you miss that penalty, misses a chance, and before you know it, it starts to become a thing, and panic starts to set in a wee bit, but it didn't happen. I mean, I think between missing the penalty and then Maida getting the goal, it's maybe 2 minutes or something. It's if even that, a couple of minutes at most. And then we just sort of we kicked on. It was a positive start. We kept going. Again, like you say, it's an own goal for the second Celtic goal, but it comes again maybe fucking 2 minutes after the restart at half time, and then Forrest again, he does deserve a mention because he has had a hard time and he's been poor. It's particularly this season. It's been one of these sort of poorer seasons. I know he was an injury in there as well, but he's been poor. Again, took his goal really, really well. He was getting at people. He was trying to make things happen. He was being a sort of wide man. That's what you want from him. You want him to create things. You want him to go on the ball and get running at people and try and make things happen. Jota looked good again. It was good to see sort of Rogic in for the start. Ralston had a good game. Starfield, it was all the park. You were seeing a lot of positive performances. There was questions of the team beforehand, but I thought it's manager's obviously been justified in selections. And again, it's another positive. Like even Juranovic, a guy that sort of plays 90 minutes most weeks, it's good to get him a rest as well. Because there's going to be a big run in here, and we need people sort of fit and firing. With guys like Forrest obviously throwing his name in the hat now for starting. It's more competition for Abada, who obviously plays out in the right on side. Look, it's a performance. I said that to you before the game. I says if we go there and we really did sort of put in a right good performance, win the game, come away for 3 points and leave no doubt about it, that for me that was the game that would give me the belief that the team would go on and win the title, and I think it's done that for me. Don't get me wrong, it'll be difficult. There's probably another twist or so to come, but that was the big one for me. I think mentally the boost the players are going to get for that, and it's shown me as well that even though, like you say, it's probably not the team that people would have went to. A lot of people would have probably had a bad outright, and Jackie Marcus, a lot of people were asking for him to start, and maybe O'Reilly or Hattati in there. It's shown me that if again you're calling upon Forrest and Beaton and Ralston, and that they've got it, they do have it in them. The manager believes in them, and they've shown that, one, they've got the ability to do it, and they've got the ability to make it happen for Celtic, but two, they've got the mentality for it. That's the big thing for me. That's what you're going to need. The players are going to need that mental toughness, and I think just getting that result down is the big thing, and it's going to be the difference between now and hopefully lifting a title at the end of the season.
Aye, definitely. As I said, I think the amount of times that we've had these sort of games where it had been like, oh, you've no won at Hibs since 2014, you've no beat Rangers in 2 years, and obviously the Livi one was 2007, but even like just the general away record, I think when Ange came in, we hadn't won since Valentine's Day the previous season. So I think the strength of the team in terms of the mentality for that as well has been really something to behold. But I think it was a massive win. I think that with 8 games to go, I know we've got 3 games before the split, which is Ross County at home. We've got Ibrox, which is just about 4 weeks away, and then St Johnstone at home, I think it is. And like that, in terms of obviously when you get in the split, you're going to play the top 6, and you're going to have a few tough away games, especially. But every team there's going to be really fighting for third and fourth place, you've got to imagine. And it looks to me like that yesterday was like a few weeks ago I said to somebody that I thought the Easter Road and the Tony Macaroni were the two venues that we had to sort of come through, and I would really fancy us to go on and lift the title. Like, I know like this was maybe the rebuild season and whatever, but the fact that we've come through these few weeks, and I know we did drop points at Easter Road, but there was no damage done essentially after Rangers dropped points on the same day. So I think we're in a massively strong position. And I was talking to you, I know that Tony's saying about the 6 wins and 2 draws, but the way it works, like, we're in a position where you don't want to get too ahead of yourself, but the Ross County and St Johnstone games at home should really take care of themselves. Like, we've been very good at home this season, and if you win the A2, you've got that Ibrox one in the middle, and if you come out of that even with a draw, but I think Andy's team will be able to win it. Like, if we were to come out and win that, and then you'd be a minimum of 6 points clear going into the split. And the way that the SPFL usually work it is that we play the last derby of the season, either the first game or the second game, usually the second game, I believe. But I think we're in a massively strong position. And Tony, I'll come back to you. It's like, as I said, it was one of the most pivotal performances of the season for me in terms of getting through that Livi game. And how strong a position do you feel we're in now? Would it be, obviously it's got to be disappointing at any point if you don't win the league, but would it be an even bigger disappointment if we fail to go on and win it now?
Yeah, it would obviously be a massive disappointment if we don't win it. But that would be football, and we would need to go again. But I think, I'm trying not to get too carried away. There's still 8 games to go. You can see we're 4 points ahead. The goal difference is significant, and we improved in that yesterday again. I think it's 11 or 12. Somebody will know the correct answer. For me, it is just very much one game at a time. It's great we've got a week break. I'm gutted I'm not going to see the team this week, but it probably helps, gives Ange more time to work with them. Don't get me wrong, I'd love to still be in Europe. I think we should always be looking to compete and yada, yada, yada. And that'll hopefully come in the seasons ahead. But Rangers having to play these 2 games against Red Star and then go to Dundee after it. And we had a bit of a torrid time against Dundee. I know they're not very good, but you don't know if this could impact them. But the good thing is as well, up next we've got Dundee United away in the Scottish Cup, massive game again. We need to know, the aim needs to be to win the treble, which sounds ridiculous because it was never even a thought so long ago. But you would like to think we're now in a strong position to do it because we should be able to beat Dundee United. I don't think they're a great team, and I'm excited. It's so exciting. I'm not really thinking about winning or losing the league. I'm trying just to think about winning the next game. The way it's looking, irrespective, we'll go to Ibrox, top of the league, unless we get beat about 10-0 off St Johnstone at Parkhead, which is unlikely. So we go there, the pressure mostly on them. They'll need to come out and attack us. Ange won't change the style of play. We'll go there to win, the same as fucking whoever we're playing. So the pressure will be on them. All you can hope for is somehow Dundee take points after them and we beat St Johnstone. Then you would be basically going there to cement you're going to win the league. But as I think somebody said there, I think Andy says there's going to be a lot of twists and turns before the league's decided. I think we'll all need to brace yourself for a few hearty moments. So the game at Ibrox will be massive. As I say, we'll go there definitely top of the league, and hopefully we can get a result. And is it Angel play to win? Hopefully Kyogo's back and he can impact it. But we have now got a really strong squad and a strong first 11. So I think the mood in the two camps seems different. Their fan base seem quite agitated and annoyed at the 9-point swing, whereas our tails are up and we're winning games. But the most important thing about yesterday was it was a great performance. It wasn't like Aberdeen, but we were poor for periods or Hearts. It was a really good performance and we were well-deserved winners. So keep up those levels and we're odds on to win the lot.
Aye, definitely. Danny, I'll come to you now as we'll move on to the cup game. It must be the first time since Ange has taken over, apart from the winter break, like where we've had this amount of time between games. It's going to be 8 days between the Livingston game and the Dundee United game. Like, how do you see that Dundee United game going? It's obviously a cup game. Teams won every cup game domestically that we've played this season. Do you think they'll benefit even more from having that 8 days in between?
I think it's I think it's a good break. I think it's the first break they've had in a long time. Apart from when I thought it's been international football since November, so it's been a long time since they probably. I know they had the winter break, but the winter break, so six weeks. No, it'll be good for them. It'll do them a world of good. They've played a lot of football since coming back. I think it's something like 4 games in the next 5 weeks, which is very important for us. A lot of training, a lot of coaching for Ange, which seems to have worked a treat so far this season. A lot more time for rest and recuperation. I know some players are going away abroad and stuff with their international team, but it is a good rest at a vital time of the season. Next Monday night will be an absolute belter, I think. A cup game at Tannadice Monday night on the telly should be an absolute knockout. Dundee United are a decent team, very capable team. Took 4 points off Rangers at home this season. Gave us 2 good games at Celtic Park. Took a draw off us. I know we played really well at Tannadice and hammered them there, but I think it could be a classic next Monday night. I think we're on the cusp of talking about winning the league. We're on the cusp of a treble, which would be the 5th treble in 6 years, which would just be something that even winning 4 in a row, and then after the season we had last year to bounce back to a treble, nobody would have thought of that. And no saying that it's on if we keep winning, of course it is, but it is a big game, and if we were to go there and win, you're into a cup semi-final, then you're potentially 2 games away for a Scottish Cup win, and what is it, 4 or 5 wins away from winning the league. So it's coming, the time that the players are going to get to rest and play these games 1 a week. Couldn't have came at a better time this season, and I'm really looking forward to next Monday. I think it could be a cracker. I'm thinking more, and I know Stevie for 67 for Gig Pod. I know he was on 67 yesterday. He'll know the game I'm talking about, and I think it was the 98 season when we beat Dundee United 3-2 in the Scottish Cup. I think that might have been a quarter final as well at Tannadice, and that was a topsy-turvy game. I can see it going the same way next Monday, with a Celtic win, obviously.
Certainly hope so. Andy, as has been mentioned, we're obviously disappointed to be out of Europe, but with this Dundee United game coming up, it does give us the 8 days in between, as I've mentioned. How do you see it going? Do you think it'll be a bit of a thriller? I know Dundee United they're wanting to fill as much of the ground with their own fans. This time, despite years and years of taking Celtic fans' money, they've took the shed back off them just so that they can put their own fans in there. How do you see Monday going?
I'm actually inclined to agree with Danny here. I think it will be a good game. Just get the feeling that they're going to fucking go for it. As such, they're not going to come out and fucking fly forward. It is, but I think they'll be looking to obviously get through. I've got to agree. I think they're one of the better sides in the league. I know their league position probably doesn't showcase that. I think they're sitting 7th or something, but I think they're a far more capable team than that. I think there's definitely goals in them. I think they can cause you problems. Tam Close has had them playing well for quite a few times when I have watched them. I've got a feeling that it's going to be a good game. Probably test people's hearts again. Ideally we obviously we make it a routine victory, but I don't get that impression. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. I think both teams will score, but again, I'm confident in the team. I think it's going to be huge us getting this break. Out come the end of the season, there'll be certain fans complaining about it again. Apparently, it's another break that will be favouring Celtic, but I think there's no way this harms us. When you're looking at guys like Forest and things like that who won't be away with international sides and travelling away. Like, the time's only going to do him a benefit, and then guys who are coming back for injuries, and obviously there's been talk of Kyogo hopefully back after the breaks. Like, it's only going to be a positive, and it's more time for Ange to go on the training ground to implement more ideas, to get a look at sort of players and systems and various things. Like, there's no way this harms us, and I think getting into that game it'll be a huge benefit. And I mean, you might see similar to we did the other day, similar to we did against Livingston, where there's a bit of rotation. There's the squad's used. I reckon it'll be a look towards that. No a weakened side, but a changed side. And I'm looking forward to it. We tipped Tannadice is always a right good day out. So looking forward to it, and I'm fancying Celtic to get through.
Yep, and Tony, I'll just take your preview for the Dundee United game.
It's as simple as if we play our best, we'll win the game. I don't want to seem too overconfident, but after what I seen yesterday, if we're going to be playing to that level, then it should be too much for anybody in Scotland. So looking forward to it. I agree with everybody else. I think it'll be a very good game. I don't think we'll run riot, but I would like to think we'll score more goals than them, which is a very simplistic way of looking at it. But no, I'm looking forward to it. I think we'll win 2-1. I think it'll be a good battle. Tannadice is a good place to go. As you say, Rangers have struggled there this season, so I'll go 2-1, and scorers will be McGregor and Maida.
I think it's going to be a decent game. I hope that Dundee United come out and have a go. And look, as I think Danny said, they have gave us a few good games at Celtic Park, but when we played at Tannadice that day, we were outstanding. And if we do turn up like that, or if we turn up the way we did yesterday, then I think it'll be a relatively comfortable night for us. And like, when you think about how often the team's been playing, how it's been like midweek, so it's been like Thursday, Sunday, or Wednesday, Saturday. Like, you've got to think this weekend especially will benefit guys like Matt O'Reilly and Dyson Maeda and Rio Hatate, who really haven't had a lot of time specifically on the training field with Ange, like, where we've got this full week to prepare and get a bit of work on it. And I know they've been playing well, and like, it's not as if they've looked out of place, but I just think more time on the actual training field with the manager and the coaches is going to benefit the January signings especially. But I hope that we do just pretty similar to we done yesterday and just sort of seal it early and get through safely to the semi-final. But I think it could be a topsy-turvy as well. I know Tony's gave his prediction. I'm going to go, I think we'll win 3-1. I think it'll be tight for a while, but I think it'll be 3-1 at Celtic. We'll be 2-1 up for a while and then seal it late on. And I think that Georgios Giakoumakis might come back in because he'll hopefully be fully fit. I know he came off the bench yesterday. I think he'll get on the score sheet along with Jota and Carol Starfelt. Will get on the score sheet as well. Danny, I'll take your score prediction.
Just before the score prediction, I think, was it the guy John in 67 Wheel yesterday said that the Scottish Cup's important for teams like Dundee United, because if they win it, I think they're guaranteed group stage football, whether it's the Conference League or the Europa League. So that's massive money for them. And so these, it's not going to be easy. They're going to be right up for it. They're going to be looking at it as well. We've beat Rangers at home this season. Why can't we go and beat Celtic? So it will be a tough game, and there's certainly plenty of incentives for every team to go and win the Scottish Cup this year. It's not just a trophy. It could be something massive for everybody that wins it. So I think it'll be a cracking game. I'm going to say 4-3 Celtic. I think it'll be an absolute classic. And I think we'll score. I think Giakoumakis will bundle in a late winner, and we'll be Probably that, boys, and we'll do a space next Monday night. There you go.
I think I would call for it if it was a last minute winner. But Andy, I'll take your prediction before we go.
Try to decide it. I'm going to go for 4-2, actually. I think we'll eventually, the quality will shine through and we'll pull away, but I'm with Danny in this. I think it's just going to be one of the games of football where it's a bit end to end and they'll get chances here and there, but I think the quality will sort of shine through in the end, and that'll be what pulls us through. I think there will be a couple of changes here and there, nothing too drastic, but I think there'll be a couple of changes, like maybe seeing Eddie Gucci start, for example, alongside sort of McGregor and O'Reilly, maybe in the middle of the park. I think it'll be something like that. We'll see. But I think I'm going to go 4-2 to say, like, I think it'll be, as I say, it'll be sort of tight first half. There'll be sort of goals either side, but then I think the second half we'll make a couple of changes and pull away and really sort of cement the game. But I do agree, something tells me it's just going to be a right good game of football to watch.
Hopefully, well, that's 4 hours of went for Celtic wins. Just remember, if you want to gauge your predictions, just send us it on Twitter or Facebook, or leave a comment on our YouTube channel where you're watching this video. But we will be back, possibly next Monday night, possibly next Tuesday, but I'm sure we'll be back as soon as we can. We'll look back at that Dundee United game and hopefully I'll look towards the semi-final draw. But if you've made it this far, thanks very much for listening, and we will speak to you next week. Cheers.